Hello, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV. Tonight's Smackdown was once again an absolute horror to get to. The horror show continues week after week. It wasn't just at Extreme Rules, and there's one main reason why, and I'm going to let Mr. Coach Steve tell you guys exactly what went down here on Smackdown tonight. Coach Steve, what'd you think about the show tonight?
All right, wrestling is apparently not what we're doing here today.
Absolutely. There was not any real wrestling on this show. There were finishes that were all interferences. There was a battle royal that ended in just a mind-numbingly stupid fashion, and we are going to talk about all of that, plus bald Strowman, and so much more right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare. You are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's Smackdown review and reaction show. Time to bring the hammer down. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
So many things wrong with tonight's episode of SmackDown. We are 1 week, just a little bit over 1 week away from the biggest party of the summer, SummerSlam. And when the biggest thing you can talk about, and the most exciting thing that I have seen, at least in my opinion, was related to something from TNA 20 years ago, then you know you're in bad shape. You got so many things to try to build. You have a whole women's division to try to build, and you effectively crapped all over everybody. You took the Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt, Alexa Bliss thing, which was mildly interesting, and have already run it into the ground. I don't understand what's happening. Braun Strowman went into the swamp, and he came out without hair. Right, he decided to pull an Uncle Fester. He's clean shaven. He looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin with a giant Duck Dynasty beard. He's about 7 feet tall, and now he's got a big chrome dome, and he looks ridiculous. And now he's acting like the villain. He's the bad guy? I thought the Fiend was the bad guy. Is Alexa Bliss initiating a turn for the Fiend to be the good guy from now on? I don't understand it. This show ended with bald Strowman and the Fiend in a laughing contest. Braun Strowman goes to slam Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is slapping Braun Strowman in the face, trying to wake him up. I don't know what any of this is about. And it just made no sense. And then you got the Fiend coming out to save Alexa from Braun, because Braun don't care about Alexa Bliss. And Alexa Bliss has heard about this because, they were in Team Little Big or whatever the nonsense is. Do you care? Do you care? And now Braun Strowman is easily acting like the major heel in this program. Standing there, slamming Alexa Bliss, and then disappearing into the darkness, and then on the Titantron, his big, bald, beaming face, just standing there laughing at the Fiend. He wanted the Fiend to come to the ring. The Fiend comes to the ring, and Braun Strowman disappears. What kind of clown shit is this? I can't stand it. I think it makes me really angry because I thought maybe for just a minuscule second that this could have actually turned around. It all depended on what was going to happen when we seen Strowman come back from Bray Wyatt's mind. Because apparently he was trapped there, remember? He was in the swamp, but the swamp only existed in Bray's mind. That's how the Fiend's matches work. They're only inside the mind of the Fiend. So he was trapped in the mind of the Fiend. He lost all his hair. He came out looking for a box of Rogaine. He couldn't find it. And now he's all pissed off at Alexa Bliss. And I'm supposed to understand why any of this is happening. Oh, the Fiend changes people. Fiend doesn't change people. Daniel Bryan isn't changed. Seth Rollins isn't changed. Bill Goldberg hasn't changed. He's just as big of a wrestling asshole as the rest of them. I don't understand it. And I only call him that because he wants to say that wrestling fans are assholes. There are wrestlers that are assholes too, Mr. Goldberg, and you happen to be one of them. And I'm an asshole fan. I'm the one that calls you guys out on all your bullshit. What does the Fiend change about anybody? Is John Cena changed? No, he's just off in Hollywood pretending to do The Rock. Pretending to be The Rock, rather. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. It makes about as much sense as giving Asuka the win in this women's battle royal. She was already set and has been being pushed and built. Not too bad either. I mean, I know it's just been match after match with Bayley pretty much, but the Asuka-Sasha Banks thing is what everybody's kind of looking forward to. Of all the things in the women's division, probably one of the better matches we're going to get. But now, you throw this battle royal. It's a tri-branded battle royal. We got girls from NXT coming. We got girls from SmackDown and girls from Raw. Everybody vying for an opportunity to get Bayley's championship and become the SmackDown Women's Champion. And instead of going and creating a new star, instead of taking one of the girls that needs a little oomph and a little push and putting them over the edge and giving them the win in this battle royal, you give it to Asuka? This is the biggest problem with the women's division. They just don't care. They are focusing and centralizing everything about the women's division around 3 women. There are dozens, or at least a dozen, women that can be in that spot. Do some of them deserve it? Not really. But wouldn't it have been better to see Bianca Belair be escalated into that spot? Just out of nowhere, earning herself her first championship matchup against Bayley, having that matchup on a big stage like SummerSlam. Wouldn't that make sense? Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler was easily my favorite going into this thing. Why would you have either one of those girls put into this match if they're not going to win? Or at the very least, be made to look strong. Or get them over in this battle royal. But no, this battle royal was just like a typical week-to-week battle royal when they do something like this because they don't know what else to do. And it was just full of quick eliminations. Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, the Iconics, all these girls were out before the thing even began. This battle royal was ridiculous. They spent more time cutting to Sasha and Bayley on the outside than they focused on the action that was going on inside the ring. And it was made even worse with the way they decided to start this battle royal. Instead of having the women come out, introducing them all one at a time. There wasn't 30 women in there. You had 10 girls coming out. You didn't want to waste time showing the participants actually come out, but you could waste 10 minutes of my time listening to Sasha and Bayley say the same shit week after week and then tell bad jokes about the few women that they were introducing. They wanted to take ring announcing duties. They got on Shotzi Blackheart for having green hair. They talked shit about everybody that came out until suddenly Asuka appeared and my mind was blown. I'm like, why is this girl even in this match? I thought for sure there's no way Asuka's winning. Somehow Sasha and Bayley are going to force Asuka out, which is going to add more heat to Asuka's match with Sasha Banks. But is that what happened? No! Now Asuka's getting 2 title shots at SummerSlam, and the rest of the girls can go fuck themselves. This isn't about any one girl in particular. I'm not mad that Naomi wasn't put over. I'm not mad that Tegan Nox was for some reason considered to be in this match like she deserves to be a SmackDown Women's Champion. Same could be said for Shotzi Blackheart. I don't have anything against these girls, but they don't deserve a championship opportunity. And if you're going to have them in there, they should be in there for a reason. Not just to be bad jokes for Sasha and Bayley. Tegan Nox looked pretty good towards the end. This girl was single-handedly taking on Shayna Baszler and Asuka at the same time and holding her own. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Tegan Nox. She's a little bit underwhelming to me, but that's just my personal taste. But she was impressive tonight. But that was the most impressive thing in the Battle Royal. And it should have happened at the beginning, and then Tegan Nox should have been like, bye-bye. And this match should have been won could have been won by any number of the females in there, and I would be okay with it. As long as it wasn't Nikki Cross again, or Asuka, who shouldn't have even been in this Battle Royal to begin with. And we come out with Asuka. You had an open door right here to plant somebody else from your women's division on the upper echelon. Make them a number 1 contender. Make them beat all the rest of these women, but instead you took this as an opportunity to further the little bit of feuds that you got going on. We had to have Lacey Evans, bam, bam, I'm gonna eliminate Naomi because she don't deserve shit. Bam, 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 bam. I don't believe that, but Lacey Evans believes that. WWE and Vince McMahon and Bruce believe that. because they just keep giving Naomi the shit end of the stick. And now you got the rest of the SJWs and all her white knights on social media starting the hashtag again. And then they're going to throw that back in our face because they don't respect hashtags. They don't give a shit about this girl. And it shows in the way they book things. The way they booked this whole entire show was ridiculous. And we didn't even get to Retribution. Indigestion, as I like to call them. Indigestion showed up and gave me just that. Shitribution. Astribution. Trashtribution. Let's get in the comment section. Give me your best Retribution name. You could just call them Suckribution. Or just call them dumb. Let's just go, this is the dumbest faction I've ever seen. It's like the five little ones that we've been seeing week to week, somebody fed them after midnight. And they multiplied like a bunch of fucking gremlins because now there's double the amount of them. Some of them are double the size of the ones that we've seen last week. And nobody still cares. They come out and decimated Big E. While he and John Morrison tried to kick off this show with an unnecessary singles match which has all types of problems in it as it is. We don't want to see Big E's singles run be relegated to him fighting people he fought in the tag team division. And then you have Retribution come out and do this interference, and they beat the shit out of Big E. Big E could wipe his ass with every single one of those members of Retribution. But I had to watch him sit there and get beat down. John Morrison getting beat down. Nobody coming out from the back to really give a shit. And then all of a sudden Retribution disappears in an orderly fashion. They caused chaos and then they walked out and then they were never not to be found anywhere. And nobody gave a shit about it. I'm supposed to care. You got Michael Cole screaming, "Is that? Oh, it's Retribution. What are we gonna do?" Michael Cole is a jerk. His commentary tonight was, it was as if I heard Vince McMahon himself. I can't imagine being in the headset and Vince McMahon going, "Act shocked, damn it! Say it's Retribution, damn it!" It was just god-awful stuff. And they continued to make Big E look like crap. And then they go and have this backstage segment where they're trying to build Big E back up. All right, he got his ass laid out, but now he's going to be in the back, and he's going to be standing around a bunch of jobbers. You got Constable King Dickhead back there. You got Sheamus coming out looking like a detective from the 1940s with his Rocky Balboa hat on. You got Chad Gable. You got Drew Gulak. You got all these guys that haven't won a match in weeks standing around in the back. You got the tag team champions sitting back there, Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. And all these people that have all been fighting with each other and have heat with each other are standing back there and they're all just chilling. Didn't Sheamus and King Constable Dickhead have like a thing last week? And aren't they like mad at each other? But no, now they're just going to stand there and both collectively dump on Big E because he's trying to rile up the troops because he wants to take on Retribution and this is his house and he ain't... And Big E was given some good fire. Big E's interview was really good. And then you have all these other idiots around him undermining him, shitting on him. Instead of him rallying the troops, everybody going, you know what, let's put this shit aside and get these goddamn NWO ninja wannabes out of here. I don't care about anything Retribution is doing. All we need to know is who is under the masks. The sooner they unmask these clowns, the sooner we will know whether or not this is actually good. Because I don't care about it. You know why I don't care? Because I don't know who's behind it. And the mystery of it is not making it any better. Because now from week to week, we're changing the amount of numbers. These guys are gaining more members faster than the New World Order did back in the 90s. Remember where every week they had a new member showing up and Ted DiBiase was teasing, oh, next week we got number 6 coming. They multiplied twice. Twice over. There was at least 10 heads that I counted, maybe less. It's just awful television. Only for them to have another incident later on in the evening. Also, during Big E's match with John Morrison, they didn't really care too much through the rest of the show. The lights were flickering on and off, and Michael Cole would jerk off. Oh my God, it's Retribution. But what? And on top of the fact that they're making Big E look stupid, they're stepping all over his singles run with this Retribution garbage. Absolute trash. and it's worthless, and it's boring, it's sleep-inducing. Friday Night Ambien, brought to you by Smackdown. Fucking awful. Let's talk about some of the rest of the show. Let's go up and down the card. Biggie versus John Morrison was a squash. Was a wash because nobody cared and Retribution came out. And there was security, by the way. I forgot to mention WWE had extra added security tonight. They had 2 jerk-offs in front of the door. 2 jerk-offs in front of the front door. And it made no difference because apparently Retribution slept overnight in the Performance Center. Or the security guys didn't show up until about 5 minutes before. They didn't make a clean sweep of the arena to make sure nobody was hanging around. Nobody checked under the ring. You know, people come out from under there. Some security job. And then they tell us again, well, now we got the security in here. Just in case. Retribution. That's my call. Retribution. It's Retribution. Oh, so bad. Asuka won the Triple Brand Battle Royal. Participants included Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Tegan Knox, Shotzi Blackheart, Naomi, Liv and Ruby, Nikki Cross, Bianca Belair, Dana Botch, Lacey Bam Bam Evans, Tamina, and Shayna Baszler. And if you watch this match and you seen the confrontation that we got with Tamina, where she was walking around that thing like she was Andre the Giant without the charisma, not selling for Nikki Cross. Nikki Cross is beating the snot out of her. She's just standing there. Just for her to get very impressively dumped out by Bianca Belair. But what good was that? Bianca Belair wasn't winning. Shayna Baszler wasn't winning. Tamina definitely wasn't winning. Asuka won this match. The biggest thing wrong with most of this show. I was really, really just pissed off about it. And the fact that they didn't give the girls any respect. We seen like a handful of them come out, and then we cut to commercial because Asuka and Sasha got into a little beef in the ring. And then we come back from commercial, and everybody's there. And it's just, let's start this match. Talk about killing time. And filler, that ring announcement segment with the golden role models. That was a pure filler. You got 2 hours of wrestling to fill. You got people talking all night long. You really needed to have these two do this? Definitely not. Definitely not. And I hated every bit of it. And then Asuka jumps Sasha and Bayley because it wasn't enough for them to be on TV for about a half an hour already. It wasn't enough for Sasha and Bayley to take focus away from the Battle Royal no matter who won. We had to go back to them all pissed off in the back that Asuka won, only for Asuka to beat them up in the back again, single-handedly, may I add. So Asuka by herself beat the snot out of both champions, who are also the combined tag team champions, and she's going to end up losing at SummerSlam to both of them, even though she very easily had her way with them tonight. Ridiculous. In one of the rare gem spots on this night, Mandy Rose showed up with her sexy mom haircut, her soccer mom short do. And I'm not really a short hair guy, but it looks pretty good on her. I preferred her with the longer hair, but that's just personal taste. I understand where they're going with this, and the ferocity and the seriousness of Mandy Rose's promo. She talked about how Sonya Deville should know better than most what she's actually been through to get here. She said she had 3 jobs at one time trying to put herself through college, I think, and trying to get to her dreams. And she had to work and continues to work very hard. Sonya and Mandy, for those of you who don't know, most of you know because my sledgeheads are educated, but they were together on Tough Enough when they were in that season. So they have been friends together for a long time, and what she says rings true, and that little bit of truth makes this promo really, really engaging and really, really effective. And Mandy Rose challenges Sonya Deville to something we all expected, the hair versus hair match at SummerSlam. This was responded to by Sonya Deville, who has been very consistent and very, very good on the mic. Pretty much laughing off Mandy Rose's comments, laughing off everything the girl had to say, and then accepting the challenge, calling her Baldy. And I think she was looking at Braun Strowman at the time when she delivered that line for inspiration. But that was pretty good. Then we have Sheamus coming out for his matchup with Chad Gable's shorty Jizzle. And there's security by the entrance to the gorilla position. And apparently Sheamus is head of security now too, because he just sent them on his way. Oh, these Retribution guys ain't going to come when I'm out there. And they certainly didn't. They certainly didn't. But we come back from commercial expecting to go to this Sheamus match, and instead we go to Nikki Cross, who's standing backstage. She's just standing there, meaninglessly, probably pondering why she lost the last Battle Royal matchup, and maybe that was the last time she's ever going to be possibly considered for the championship. And then suddenly she looks to her right, and Alexa Bliss has just been standing there right next to her the whole time. She didn't come walking past. She didn't happen by. She was just standing there. So Nikki Cross looked left, looked right, saw nothing, looked up, stressed out a little bit, looked right. Oh, shit! It's Alexa Bliss! And then she tried to apologize for last week, but Alexa wasn't having it. Alexa was in some sort of mood today, as you can imagine. She's been accosted by The Fiend 2 weeks in a row, mostly because of something to do with Braun Strowman. So she's a little shaken up. She's a little, weird in the back. And we're going to get an interview with Alexa Bliss that's going to tell us absolutely nothing. Nothing you didn't already know. We'll get to that in a second. Sheamus defeated Chad Gable, but I don't understand this either. Because did not Chad Gable just turn heel with Constable King Dickhead Baron Corbin? And didn't we just see all these guys in that segment in the back, and they didn't seem to care too much? And you got a heel versus heel going on here, apparently. I don't know, because then Chad Gable's all apologetic after the match to whatever. I'm just forgetting his name, but he was trying to apologize for last week and what he did to Matt Riddle. Holy shit, I almost forgot. And then it only ended up in Matt Riddle getting his fucking head beaten in by Constable King Dickhead. So I don't understand it. Is Chad Gable still bad? If he is, why is he wrestling Sheamus? They have a personal grudge against each other because of something that happened last week, but it doesn't really matter now, does it? I don't understand. So we're just going to see Shorty G and Sheamus again in the ring again. I don't care. And neither should you. My single favorite part of the night, as we referenced earlier, was the moment that made me think of TNA before TNA was crap. Many moons ago, AJ Styles was the king of the roost over there. And the two main reasons I watched TNA was for the Phenomenal One and for the Monster Abyss. Joseph Park, Chris Park, call him whatever you want. The man was fantastic. If you've never seen Abyss, imagine a 7-foot version of Mankind with the explosive power of a Bruiser Brody and that creepy, lingering aura that you would get from The Undertaker. Couple that with being managed by one of my favorite managers and a big inspiration on me, Father James Mitchell. It was absolutely a fantastic pairing. It was some of the best stuff ever, and the Black Hole Slam was one of the best moves I had ever seen at that time. Abyss was unique, he was different, and he just spoke to me, man. He was one of those transcendent characters. He was bigger than TNA. You wanted to see Abyss. He was awesome. Did they really do right by him? Of course not. If they did, TNA would still be, they wouldn't be Impact. They would still be TNA, and it would still be awesome. But to see AJ Styles and the Monster Abyss, even though he was Joseph Park here, in a WWE ring, definitely warmed my heart and my soul. It's just a moment that you would never have imagined to see. And the one thing that I hope the most is that the WWE is going to bring us Abyss. I'm putting a lot of hope in an empty basket right now, okay? But the only reason I could see for having this guy even be part of this show or part of this angle with AJ Styles is to eventually bring him in the fold and maybe debut Abyss in the WWE, which would be great. Then we could have a real monster on the roster, not this bald retard going around flip-flopping what the hell he's doing, losing his mind, body slamming Alexa Bliss all night. The Monster Abyss is amazing. So if this is the first few baby steps to that happening, I'm going to be very high on that. I'm going to be very happy about it, and I will welcome it with open arms. If this is just him playing Joseph Park, being second fiddle to AJ Styles, from what we see tonight, their chemistry is fantastic. They look great together, and it's something different and new, and I will take it. So do it. But don't make it stupid. Don't have these two out there and have AJ Styles making piss jokes. The phenomenal intercontinental whatever, social syndrome, whatever the fuck it was, it's not even worth remembering. Let's look it up right over here, because I'm sure it says it over here. AJ Styles, the phenomenal intercontinental statistic system. All right, and then he broke down the acronym for you and spelled it out, PISS, and then was like, no, wait, it's just a work in progress. No, clearly it's not. It's just a Vince and Bruce joke, because it only appeals to 8-year-olds and 5th graders in the schoolyard. I feel like they did this just to have AJ Styles say the word piss to make Vince chuckle. Or because they knew they have two former TNA greats in the ring and we can't take this too seriously, so let's call this the piss segment. Since they want to piss all over pro wrestling as it is in general. But this didn't really make too much sense. As much as I enjoyed seeing them together, it was great. But the whole phenomenal intercontinental fucking system of statistics, seeing AJ Styles talk about his Twitch stream and statistics, is not really what I expect on an episode of SmackDown. Although I should at this point, because it seems like something that they would do, doesn't it? But this was made better only by the involvement of Jeff Hardy. Now, normally you probably don't think I would say something like that, but going back to TNA once again, you have in a WWE ring Jeff Hardy, who was a big reason for TNA's burst of fans and stuff in their heyday, before he screwed up everything with his actual real life personal problems. But to have Jeff Hardy and AJ and Abyss in the ring at the same time, everything just I felt like I was in an alternate universe somewhere. Instead of wishing I was in one, I actually felt like I was in one, and it was good. Because let me tell you something. AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy is a match that I have seen before. And it is great. Jeff Hardy, in his current mind frame, getting himself clean, being all back together, paired with AJ Styles, who's maybe a little past his prime, but is still better than half of the guys on the roster, if not more, are going to put on one hell of a match for the Intercontinental Championship. But there's a problem with that, too. You see, because we're just a little over a week away from SummerSlam, and these idiots want to book AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy with 1 week of build and not even have the decency to put it on SummerSlam's card. You're doing it as nothing more than a ratings bump for this shit blue show, because you're just tanking in the ratings with how terrible everything is. And you know how else you know they're just trying to push you to watch and trying to boost that rating? Because multiple times tonight, Michael Cole had to make it known that this is the last time we're going to... Oh, and he kept saying rumored, because you never know how plans change, I guess. But it's heavily being rumored that we're not going to be in the Performance Center next week. Oh, Think that's going to make people watch just because they're not coming from the PC? And then we got stories of this virtual wall of fans. Going to have screens around instead of seats. I don't understand. Is it going to be like one giant Skype call with fans up and around like Hollywood Squares? Watching around the... Like, what? More details, I guess, will come, and we'll be able to talk about it next week. And hopefully it's not as bad as I am expecting. But Jeff Hardy made his intentions known. He wants the shot at the Intercontinental Championship. That match has been made. At the end of the segment, he signed his name to Jeff Hardy's big old whiteboard. He had a whiteboard that was going to have a list of everybody who statistically has earned a shot at the Intercontinental Championship, and it had nobody's name. Har, har, har. So funny. But Jeff Hardy signed it in permanent ink. So in the back, when Joseph Park was holding this sign up for AJ, and he was venting his frustration to Kayla Braxton. He said, I'm just going to erase Jeff Hardy's name from here. He goes to try to erase it from the washboard, and it fails because he wrote it in permanent marker. And this pissed off AJ, and Joseph Park, Mr. Abyss, was like, oh, I'm sorry. And they played it off very well. It was a decent comic moment, which we don't get very often. Then we have the Lucha House Party stealing the tag team championships from Shinsuke and Cesaro. This is something that heel teams do. Good guys don't steal. It just doesn't make sense. It's desperation. It's trying to get you interested in a tag team division that's totally dead. And the biggest thing about the Lucha House Party that happened tonight is not the fact that they won 2 weeks in a row in singles matches against the champion. It was the return of Kalisto. Hooray! Do you give a shit? I don't. I don't care if there's 1, 2, 3, 12 members of the Lucha House Party. They are just gonna lose at SummerSlam. It's that simple. They're not built to win. They're not there to win. They're not booked to win. So it's all for nothing. So Gran Metalik defeats Shinsuke Nakamura. Who cares? All due to the interference made by Kalisto. So not only did they win, not only did they steal the tag team championships, but they won by nefarious means. By causing a distraction from the outside, which by WWE's rules lately, doesn't that mean that Lince Dorado should be disqualified? Or Gran Metalik, rather, shouldn't he be disqualified now since something happened on the outside that had nothing to do with what was going on? Isn't that what the WWE does now? The Alexa Bliss interview, she discussed her friendship with Braun Strowman. They showed clips of them being Team Little Big. And it was all nothing. It said nothing. She said nothing. They asked her what she thought about Braun Strowman saying he didn't care last week. How does that make you feel? How do you think it makes her feel? This is the kind of shit they're writing. They didn't give us anything to sink our teeth into. Alexa Bliss just looked away from the camera. Oh, I'm so sad now because he doesn't care about me anymore. This is a thing? This happened like 2 years ago. All of a sudden, you're bringing it back and I'm supposed to care. Oh, her little feelings are hurt. Who cares? This is bad writing. Terribly bad writing. Then we end the show with Big E trying once again to wrestle John Morrison. This time they got through the match, and thankfully, Big E won this match. It was ruined by The Miz being on commentary, making jokes about Mandy Rose, talking shit about Big E and everything. It was just completely unnecessary. And then he's getting shit on by Michael Cole and everybody because he doesn't care that Retribution came out once again. Or Retribution didn't come out, actually. They decided to attack the locker room since the WWE roster decided to hit the ring. You had all 3 members of the Lucha House Party. Otis came out. You had a bunch of guys outside the ring because they didn't want Retribution to show up because the lights started flickering on and off again. Seriously. So you have Shitribution breaking into the locker room, breaking shit up. Michael Cole's trying to tell everybody, hey guys, they're not here. They're in the back. Corey Graves is like, go to the back. They're in the back, and everybody's just standing around like this. And you want me to think for 1 minute that when you cut to me, you didn't have that footage being shown on the... Why wouldn't you have that up there for the guys to see? It's always up there for everybody to see whatever happens in the back. If there's somebody in the ring that needs to know what's going on in the back, like when Bayley was beating down Kairi Sane, normally that would be shown on the screen. The guys would have been like, uh-oh, and they could have took their ball and ran to the back and try to beat the hell out of Retribution, but instead they show up too late after the clown of fools is already gone, and they're going in there, guns blazing, hey, where's Retribution? Blah, blah, blah. Some guy's taking a shit in the corner. And it was awful. It was awful. But at the very least, Big E got the win despite all of the attempts of John Morrison to take out the big man's leg, which was to no avail. Big E made the comeback and got the win. But then he was attacked by Sheamus, because it wasn't bad enough that we seen him dressed like Rocky Balboa in the beginning. It wasn't bad enough that we seen him as the head of security, sending security away. It wasn't bad enough that he was in this match with Chad Gable. Now he's got to stick his nose in to Big E. Now, I don't... That sounded terrible. That's not at all what I meant. He had to stick his nose into Big E's business, which still, I guess, doesn't sound too good, but you understand what I'm saying. And I don't understand. Everybody's just fighting everybody on SmackDown. This guy's feuding with Chad Gable. He's also feuding with Constable King Dickhead. They were all kind of pissed off at Matt Riddle, I guess. And now he's going after Big E. And while Big E versus Sheamus is a feud I maybe could be interested in because you got two powerful, really good wrestlers in the ring, I have no faith in the WWE to book it worth a damn. That is a fact. Braun Strowman, again, as we talked about at the top of the show, came out to finish this show. He was absolutely pissed off at The Fiend. He kept challenging The Fiend to come out and face him. Instead, Alexa Bliss came down to the ring. Here's where we'll clarify some of that mess I said at the beginning of the show. Says that this isn't the Braun that she knows. She wants to know, what's going on, Braun? Why are you shaving your head, Braun? Why are you bald now, Braun? This isn't you, Braun. Who writes this for her? She's a much better heel than this. She doesn't need this kind of shit making her look stupid. Why didn't she have anything to say about what has happened to her over the last 2 weeks? And everybody's talking on social media, oh, Alexa Bliss is going to turn heel. Alexa's going to turn heel on Braun Strowman. Oh, my God. Alexa didn't do nothing. Alexa Bliss slapped the taste out of Braun Strowman's mouth about 50 times, and then she was lifted in the air and slammed to the mat, gorilla press style, by the Monster Among Men. The Monster Among the Hair Club for Men, now. And then The Fiend comes out, I guess to protect Alexa, or because Braun wanted him there, and then Braun the Bald disappeared and showed up on the Titantron. And the two maniacs sit there laughing at each other. Like the Joker looking in a mirror at his reflection, only the reflection was laughing in a really retarded way. And I don't understand how they could ruin something that actually had potential. I was already down on this going in because the dynamic is off and The Fiend should have never lost the belt. And if this is a story you wanted to tell about good guy Braun falling into the mouth of madness and losing to The Fiend during The Fiend's run, that would have been fine. But you got Braun as the champion. He's supposed to be the stand-up good guy. He's supposed to care about Alexa Bliss. Or else, why is she even involved? Alexa Bliss is going to be Sister Abigail. Who cares now? There's no heat to it. If she's standing there at his side, it's not going to mindfuck Braun Strowman because he just tried to kill Alexa Bliss himself. So, what sense does any of that what we've seen in the last 2 weeks make? The Fiend has failed to get in the head of Braun Strowman by using Alexa Bliss as a pawn. So where do they go from here? And why am I supposed to care? And who am I supposed to be rooting for? Am I rooting for The Fiend? Like, I can do that because I thought The Fiend was one of the coolest things that they've done over the last couple of years. They've ruined him to no end, but he still has the potential to be something different and unique and fun. But instead, you're doing this shit. I don't get it. The show goes off the air in a very strange segment where Braun was clearly the bad guy and The Fiend was still the bad guy as well, but he saved Alexa. I guess. I don't know. The only thing I'm truly hoping carries over from this SmackDown to the next is AJ Styles being paired with Joseph Parks. That will be enough for me to tune into SmackDown and at least know that in that moment, I'll be alright. Because I love the pairing and the feud that they are on with Jeff Hardy. If maybe Jeff Hardy beats AJ and makes AJ snap, and maybe he gets Joseph Parks to snap and brings back the Monster Abyss to get his championship back from Jeff Hardy. Like, let's do stuff like that. I think that would be kind of cool. I love Abyss, as if I didn't make that perfectly clear. So I would be all on board for that. It would be just fantastic. You know what wasn't fantastic? Tonight's episode of Smackdown, which gets the big old overall poop hammer rating up and down every segment. Nothing redeeming. There is no redemption. There is only retribution. Oh my God. God awful stuff. And that's it. That's what I got for you guys right now. I'm going to wrap this up. We're going to post this up. And we're going to go back inside and play the Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake demo. I'm going to tear that warehouse a new asshole just like I used to back in the day. Maybe I'll do some of that on this channel for you guys. But there is, a music issue with Tony Hawk. I'll have to turn the music down maybe. I don't know. Maybe we'll do it on Twitch so I don't get in trouble. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know if there'll be enough time. I might have to go to Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's what I'm going to do right now. You guys should go do the same thing. Go play your favorite video game. Go do something. Go do anything. Just don't go to watch Smackdown. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue, the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. And now I'd like to invite you to hit that subscribe button if you are not already a member of the Sledgehead Army as we continue to take over the internet wrestling community, one subscriber at a time. And it starts with an awesome person like you. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification, smash the thumbs up, and then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they need to know why SmackDown sucked so hard. Your usual Suckdown Live, as always. Don't forget to check out everything else on the channel you may have missed, including the hammering of Monday Night Raw, our review of Extreme Rules the Horror Show, and my Sketchhammer series where we have recently drawn Alexa Bliss, we have drawn The Undertaker, and we have also drawn The Fiend and Sasha Banks. Lots of wrestling stuff, man. Lots of wrestling stuff. All varieties, all different stuff. Go check everything out. Leave a like on everything that you watch. It really helps the channel out. That, my friends, is going to do it. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com.